Comics, graphic novels, sequential art. All these terms describe an old yet new visual medium that struggles to maintain its credentials as an art form even to this day. Fans of the Game of Thrones franchise will often rave about their love for the HBO TV series, or the novels that served as their source material, yet rarely mention the official graphic novel adapted by Daniel Abraham and illustrated by Tommy Patterson. Prior to this class, I didn't even know there was a graphic novel adaptation. But now that I've had a chance to read the first volume, I feel I can now discuss the strengths and weaknesses of this unique visual medium. Most of the graphic novel scenes are structured in a similar way. The conversation begins as a tiny speech bubble or narration, floating in a vast establishing shot that encourages readers to pause for a moment and drink in the details of the forest, field, or castle chamber that the conversation is about to take place in. From there, panels tend to stick to moment or action-to-action transitions, depicting mere seconds at a time and showing the slightest changes in each character's expression as they speak. These slow-paced visuals complement the characters' heavy and intricate dialogue by allowing you to get sucked into their world without getting hopelessly lost. Where the graphic novel falls short is in trying to keep the cast's many characters looking distinct from one another. Tumblr user Every Flavored Bean recently pointed out that animation studio Pixar's male characters tend to have a wide variety of head shapes and bone structures, yet its female characters all essentially have the exact same face, with big doe eyes, button noses, and smooth baby faces. I think that the Game of Thrones graphic novel has a very similar design flaw. In this case, all the females seem to have the same pouty lips, arched brows, and round cheeks in common. It is especially problematic for a comic with a more realistic art style, since we don't have much else to distinguish these long-haired noblewomen physically, and unlike in the TV series or novels respectively, there are no voices or dialogue tags, such as "That's not me," said Arya, to help with this. This is a bit ironic, considering how Daniel Abraham mentioned in the making of section of the graphic novel that they, quote, not only wanted, but needed, for legal reasons, their graphic novel to have its own distinct look, apart from what HBO was doing, end quote. In general, the artwork for the characters and backgrounds are depicted both vividly and skillfully. If you're already a fan of the TV series and want to see some of the many details that were cut from this version, then the graphic novel is the more faithful of the two visual mediums. Because of the character design issue that I mentioned before, I might not recommend the graphic novel to people who have never tried the show or books beforehand. As George R.R. Martin said in the graphic novel's preface, when we move a story from one medium to another, no matter how faithful we attempt to be, some changes are inevitable. Each medium has its own demands, its own restrictions, its own way of telling a story.